Hey everyone, Andrew Logan here. Welcome to another YouTube video. And today is a really special one because this is a topic I really love to talk about. I want to show you how to create freedom. I want to show you exactly step by step how to take the money that you're earning and turn that into financial freedom. And we're going to do like a live example. And we're going to start with $300 a week. I'll show you 500, I'll show you 1,000. We'll show you different examples, but I want to give you the exact roadmap because I love showing people how to create an extra income. I love helping people build their side hustle, build that business, all those things. And there's so many great things about that. But there's no point just making a little bit of extra money if we don't have a plan for it. And if you don't have a plan for your money, other people are going to come along with their plan and take your money off you. And that's why it's so important that we learn how to manage our money and then how to multiply our money. So I'm going to take you in depth with that today because the reality is we live in Generation S, what I like to call Generation S. And as much as there's, boomers versus Gen Xers versus millennials, all that kind of stuff, generation this, I'm a 1980s baby, right? Generation that. I like to talk about how we live in Generation S, where we are the generation of the side hustle. 20 years ago, 10 years ago even, but certainly 10, 20 plus years ago, if you had a side hustle, you were probably a bit of a weirdo. Side hustles were things that kind of weirdos who couldn't get real jobs do. Now, everyone's doing it. Social media, influencers, all the things that we have through Zoom and technology, people are out there side hustling. And you don't have to go too far on your social media. You don't have to scroll your social media too far to see that everyone is out there talking about this thing that they're doing and come make money with me, come create freedom with me, come over here and make some profits, all those sorts of things. The problem is 99% of them are broke. All these people who are selling come make money with me are broke. And even worse than that, 99.9% of them don't actually know how to take the next step. There's making money from your side hustle, whatever vehicle you're using. But the real key is how to actually turn that into freedom. And I want to show you that today. I want to show you how to take the money that you're earning and turn it into freedom. Now, quick couple of things. This is not personalized advice, okay? This is an example, okay? You need to see if this is a right pathway for you, okay? This is just a hypothetical, theoretical example. This is not financial advice. Now, secondly, with that, some of you are going to sit there and say, oh, well, that's impossible. That doesn't work, blah, blah. And I just want to say, don't lose the forest for the trees here, okay? If I say something like, 6%, and you say, well, actually it's 5.91. Don't lose the forest for the trees. If I say 100,000 and you say, well, it's actually 101, 300, like blah, blah, 99,973, don't lose the forest for the trees. You don't have to follow this plan, but you have to follow a plan. You have to come up with some kind of plan for your money. Otherwise, you're going to lose it. You're going to be doing all this work in your side hustle, but you're never going to create freedom. So this is a hypothetical example. At least take the idea, the concept, and figure out how to put it into your life. So let's get started. Now, as I said, with this initial example, we're just going to use $300 a week. And then I'll show you some just different figures with 500 a week and 1,000 a week, okay? And how much you can accelerate it. So the first step, obviously, is we're going to make that $300 a week. So if you're not making $300 a week, then grab my book, okay? I'll pop the little thing up here on the screen. Just go to my website. You can go there or you can go there, okay, up on the screen. Grab my book. It's going to show you exactly how to do that. It's going to show you the exact steps to build your business and start creating an income. And you can get that free, okay? Just pay shipping and handling. Go and grab the book. What we do next then, this is going to take a little bit of patience too, okay? But again, remember, we're talking about total financial freedom. I'm going to show you how to have like a multiple 7+ figure net worth. I'm going to show you how to be making hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, sitting at home on your butt doing nothing. That is going to take a little bit of patience, okay? You can't shortcut that process. So we're going to start with our $300 a week, okay? And all we're going to do at the start is we're going to sit in the foundation phase. So there's 3 phases to what we're doing today. So the foundation phase, we're going to start in kind of year 0, and we're going to invest that $300 a week at 6%. Okay, we're going to invest $300 a week every single week, and the 6% that we're earning, we are going to reinvest. So we're going to compound and we're going to snowball that. Now, again, some of you are saying 6%, that's impossible. It's not at all. Okay, just need to do a little bit of research. If you're going to go look at stocks, okay, look at stocks that pay dividends. Okay, in America, you can buy things called T-bills. It's not quite 6%, it's 5.5%. You lend your money to the government and they pay you 5.5% tax-free. So 5.5% tax-free, that's like getting 8 or 9%, right? They pay you 5.5% tax-free just by buying these T-bills, which is basically a loan to the government. The problem is, it's boring. Okay, people when they invest, they want to like, oh well, I trade options on the FTSE of futures in the the commodities market. They want to sound all highbrow and complicated. The most successful investors are the most boring people you'll ever meet. The freedom and the fun comes from what can you do with the money that you're making. The successful investors know that the process is boring and they have fun with the results. Unsuccessful investors try and have fun with the results, with the process, and they try and have these crazy, exciting, adrenaline-fueled times because they want the process to be really exciting. The process is going to be boring. So if you live in the UK, Europe, okay, look at dividend stocks, look at ETFs, look at things like that. Australia, where I'm from, you can buy very, very stable, reliable stocks, not advice, but you can, with a very small amount of research, buy very stable stocks that will pay you 5 to 6% tax-free over and over and over and over again every single year. Now, again, is there risk? There is always risk. There is risk when you open the door and walk outside. What if it goes wrong? You know what? It might take a little bit longer for this foundation phase to go. That's why you buy stable, reliable, long-term companies that, they might have a little sneeze here, they might get a little cough here, there might be a dip here, but they're going to come back stronger. They're going to keep growing because they're strong, reliable companies. What if it does better? Because all we're talking here is the 6% of the dividend that you get, the 6% of the cash flow. We haven't taken into account any growth. Any of these companies grow like stable, strong companies do. You do this even faster, okay? We're talking worst case scenario. The stock just goes for 6 years, okay? So again, don't get too caught up in all the finer details. Just show if you put $300 a week at 6%, take out any capital growth, take out any, strength of the economy and the stock growing, at the end of that, you'll have $120,000. So year 6, you'll have 120K saved up. Now that was boring. I know that was boring. We just put that $300 a week in. Again, patience. Okay. Again, you can put more than $300 a week in. I'm just showing you an example with as little as $300 a week, how to be worth 7+ figures with just $300 a week. So what we're going to do with this 120K a week is we're going to buy a property. We're going to put a 20% deposit down on our 500K property. So there's our 20% deposit, and it does leave us 20K. Now, again, we've got 20K for expenses, 20K for fees, okay, 20K is that, hey, you can go and have a nice holiday. 20K wiggle room that, yeah, maybe you got 5.5% instead of 6%. Maybe there was a small drop in value. So we've got that 20K up our sleeve, but we're going to put a 20% deposit on a 500K house. Now, this is house number 1. Okay. House 1, 500K. And we owe 400K on it. And we are going to put a tenant in place. The tenant is going to rent it off us. Okay. And the tenant is going to take care of our interest payments. We're going to have a loan for 400K. The tenant takes care of that. And we continue now to put the $300 a week into this home loan and start accelerating the home loan process. We start paying down this home loan faster. Now, again, some of you are going to say, I can't buy a house for 500K in my area. 2 things. You may not be able to buy a house. You could buy a unit. You could buy half of a duplex. You could buy a little townhouse. Okay. You could stick around here a little bit longer if you wanted to go, a little bit more expensive house. But that brings us to the second thing. The house that you buy here, house number 1, this is the foundation phase. You are never going to live in it. It's meant to be just it's just a vehicle to create more money. It's not meant to be the nicest house in the world. It's not meant to be a house that you would ever live in. This is the foundational cornerstone of a greater financial plan. Again, so many people go wrong because they want their investment property to be beautiful and spectacular. You don't buy property to live in it. You buy property so that someone else will pay for it for you. Okay, you don't buy property for the property. You buy property for the ability to create an income. Remember that. You buy property for the ability to create an income. So I don't care if that house is not great. The very first house I bought was not amazing. But that one house that we bought almost 20 years ago now allowed us to buy 13 more. We eventually sold it. It did its job. We bought 1 so that we could buy 2, so that we could buy 5, so that we could buy 14. Okay, this one. And again, you're allowed to buy houses not in your street. If you live in a very nice street and they're all $1 million houses, get in the car and drive to another suburb. Okay, certainly in Australia, you're allowed to claim on tax travel to go check out your investment property. So maybe buy a property somewhere else where you like to visit once or twice a year, and then you can go visit there, tax-free. Okay, not advice, just something that you could potentially do. But what we're going to do is we're going to be really boring. With a tenant in place, they're paying rent, that's covering the costs of the house. Okay, we're going to keep these costs as low as possible. Interest-only loan. We've got the 100K that put the deposit down, and we put the $300 a week into there. Now, in year 12, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to use the growth of this house, because it's been growing. Now, houses tend to grow at around 5 to 7% a year. Let's be really conservative and say it's just grown to 750, 800K. We've got a huge amount of equity in it because we've got this tenant in there paying rent. We've been paying our $300 a week off. Now, if you pay $300 a week off a loan, okay, you pay it off in about half the time. So we're well on our way to paying off almost half of this loan, right? We've got it right down. We've got this huge amount of equity, and we're going to use this to buy house number 2. And this one, we've got a bit more money. We're growing. Yes, the market's growing as well. It's going to be 800K. But the very cool thing is that when we have equity here and we have cash flow here, most banks in most countries in the world, okay, again, you can't do this everywhere in the world, but certainly in most places in the world, you use the equity and the growth and the collateral that you have here, plus your regular income here, plus your tenant's income. They will lend you that 800K totally. They will lend you 100% of that loan. So this is our foundational phase. Right now, we've used $300 a week to buy 2 investment properties. And between us and the tenant, we've got this one down from 400K loan to about a 250K loan. Okay, we're really pushing and growing that equity again. It's grown. So we've probably got about $500,000 worth of equity in there. And we have tenant number 2 in there. So that is, one more step here on our foundation phase. Again, we now buy house number 3. And this one is going to be 1 million. Okay, 1,000K. So again, we've continued to pay this one down. We've had it for 12 years now. We have almost paid it off. Because again, with $300 a week on a 400K loan, $300 extra, you pay it off in half the time. So we've almost paid it off by now. This one's been growing. We've had a tenant in place covering the costs. It's been growing. The rent's been going up. The rent's been going up here. We have the money, the equity, the cash flow to buy house number 3. Okay. So is this a little bit slow? Yes, but it's incredibly safe. There is always risk, but this is incredibly safe. And again, we've only done this with $300 a week. At no point have we grown our business or put any extra money into this system. So that's our foundation phase. Now we're going to accelerate this process. Okay, we're going to really get going. So year 21. Okay, so year 21, with that $300 a week, our original townhouse, so townhouse number 1, we own it. Okay, it is paid off in full. So we don't owe anything to the bank. We've used the tenant who is paying rent to pay the majority of the costs, pretty much all the holding costs. And then we've thrown in that extra $300 a week and got house number 1 paid off. So that means the rent from house number 1, which we bought 15 years ago. Now, again, rents go up with inflation and cost of living and all that kind of stuff. So the rent now has grown over the years. And again, sometimes we can sit there and, what would it be like in 15 years? I want you to think about houses that you could have bought 15, 20 years ago, what you were paying for rent 15, 20 years ago. Now project that forward. Think about what a townhouse worth $500K 20 years ago, 15 years ago, what you could have bought, now what you could buy, and now what they're renting at. Okay, so the rent's going to go up. We've paid this off, so it's free money at this point. We have cash flow of hundreds of dollars a week. You're talking $700, $800 a week as a bare minimum, extra free, and we're going to put that and the $300 a week into house 2. So we've got this one, this 500K unit. It's probably worth, again, houses grow at 5 to 7%. We've had it for 15 years. It's going to be worth close to $1 million at this point. It's going to be renting at $750, $800 plus a week. And we've got this incredible equity in there. We're going to start pouring the money into house number 2. Okay. And from here, we then get to year 24. We're going to have repeated that process. We're going to consistently do that process. And we're going to buy house number 4. Now, again, house number 4 is going to be worth about $1 million. Okay, so we're going to buy a 500K house, an 800K house, and we've got $2 million houses now. And we've done all of this with $300 a week. We're pouring the money from here into house number 2. That means at year 27, house number 2, we own. We own it outright because we were pouring the $300 a week and the $800 a week rent from here. We've paid it down super quickly. All right, we've got rid of that debt. Now we've got rent coming in from here, rent coming in from here. Again, inflation growth. There's a couple of $1,000s a week rent coming in. We're going to use that to pay off house number 3. We're going to really accelerate that process. Rent from 1, rent from 2, our $300 a week pours into 3. Okay. Year 27, yep, we've paid off that. And year 30, our final purchase in this example, again, we buy another $1 million home, house number 5. So this is house number 5, another $1 million. We have millions of dollars worth of property in our portfolio now. We have 2 of them that we own outright. We have thousands of dollars a week coming in rent free, plus the $300 a week. And now we're going to move into the final phase, into the freedom phase. So freedom phase, year 32. At year 32, house number 3, we own. That was really cool. We start to accelerate. Year 36, house number 4, we own. Year 40, house number 5, $1 million property that we only bought 10 years ago, we own in full outright. So we have millions and millions of dollars worth of property that we own totally outright. No debt. We don't owe the bank anything. All we had to do was pay the $100K deposit 24 years ago. Okay. 34 years ago. Sorry. We paid that deposit and used that to buy one house. And then we used the equity to buy the second, to buy the third, to buy the fourth, to buy the fifth. We own them all outright. We would have, at this point, with 5 houses, all of them worth over $1 million. House number 3, house number 4 that we bought 10 plus years ago that were worth $1 million 10 plus years ago, they're going to be worth $1.5 to $2 million each. Okay. Plus this one, it's going to be worth $1.5 to $2 million with capital growth. Again, you would have close to 8 figures worth of property. You would have at least $7 to $8 million worth of property, giving you $400,000 a year as a bare minimum in rent forever for $300 a week. Isn't that nuts? Now, again, some people are going to sit there and say, yeah, but that took 40 years. And for some people, there's nothing more you can offer at this point. Would it be okay? So 2 questions. Would it be okay if in the background, while you're building your side hustle, you built a property empire worth almost 8 figures that was paying you hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, and you did that in the background with just $300 a week? Now, again, we never put more than $300 a week in. We never grew our business. We never read more books. We never went to more courses. We never invested in a coach or a mentor. We just sat there with our $300 a week. Would that be okay? Because you don't have to go all the way to house number 5. You could have stopped here years ago at house number 3. You could have stopped at house number 2. You could have just stopped 10, 15 years ago at house number 2, and you'd have a couple of $1 million worth of property. You'd have $100,000 a year coming in. If that's freedom for you, stop there. I'm talking like 40 years. I'm talking like legacy. Like you're leaving, you've got 2 children, you leave them $4 million each worth of property. That's okay. Plus, you sell one of them off and have an amazing holiday for the rest of your life with $300 a week. Second question, what else are you going to do? So if you don't like this plan, that's fine, but you've got to come up with your own plan. And if this plan is too long, find a different plan, but find a different plan that you can actually sit there and know what to do. Actually go and run the numbers, actually figure it out. Now, the final thing before we finish up, okay, we just did that with $300 a week. Some of you are earning more, which is awesome. Some of you are like, you know what? Yeah, I'm earning a couple $100 a week, but I'm going to continue to grow my business. I'm going to continue to hustle. I'm going to continue to grow. As the kids leave home, there's more money. I can pour more money into these houses. We didn't take any of that into account. We didn't take any growth in your $300, any bonus checks. Okay, we always talk about your paycheck and your play check. What if you got a good bonus and that play check? You threw that play check into the house and saved yourself a couple of years by putting a couple of bonus checks in along the way. You can do this in 37, 38 years, not 40. And again, like, would that be okay? What if this took, quick tangent, what if it took 41 years? Okay. What if it took 42 years to be worth 8 figures? Would that be okay? But let's just run the numbers with $500 a week. Okay. So all we've done is go from $300 a week to $500 a week. So if we, again, read the books, listened to the podcast, did all that, built our business up, $500 a week, it takes 4 years to make that 100K at 6%. So you buy your first home at year 4, you buy the second home at year 8, year 12, you have the first house paid off, year 16, you buy the third house, year 20, you have the second paid off, year 23, we start doing it in 3 years now, we buy the fourth house, year 25, we're down to 2 years, third house paid off, year 28, buy the fifth house, year 32, fourth house paid off, year 35, fifth house paid off. So simply by going from $300 a week to $500 a week, you do the same thing 5 years faster. Can you see the difference there? Now, again, $500 a week, maybe you don't need 8 figures to be financially free to leave a legacy for your children. With $500 a week, you could be at year 20, own 3 houses, 2 of them paid off in full. Again, there's still a couple of $1 million worth of property there. You have a couple of $1 million worth of investment property, of 2/3 of it you own outright. You're doing really well. You are ahead of so much of the world if that's what you had, right? And that was just $500 a week for 20 years. What if we did $1,000 a week? So $1,000 a week, it takes you 2 years to get your 100K. So year 2, you buy the first home. Year 5, you buy the second home. Year 8, you've got the first house paid off. Year 12, you buy the third house. Year 15, you've got the second paid off. Year 20, you've got the third paid off. Like, you are absolutely crushing it. And again, just in that example alone, again, just in 20 years, we haven't even got like right into the acceleration phase. In 20 years with $1,000 a week, you own 3 houses, all worth $1 million each. Plus you own them outright. So you've probably got a 4+ figure net worth. You've got rent from $3 million properties. So $3 to $4 grand a week plus coming in. And we did that in 20 years, owning those 3 houses outright. We didn't even get into the acceleration phase there. We don't even need to, because you can put it together from there. You have everything done here in like it's 27 to 28 years when you really run the numbers. So by going from $300 a week to $1,000 a week, you cut like 13 years off this process. But again, what if you just own 3 houses outright? Most people would be happy to own one. And we can look at these things and go, oh, that took 40 years. 40 years with $300 a week. It's like, it's crazy, right? It takes 35 years with $500 a week. It takes 27 years with $1,000 a week. It's nuts. But we get so impatient when we put our money to work. You have to let that snowball grow. You have to let these things compound. But if you can go and do this process, if you can stay patient, you can stay focused, you continue to build your business, you continue to put it to work, you continue to compound, and you create your wealth loop, you do that, you will have incredible, incredible success. And you'll be one of those people that actually created financial freedom from your side hustle. And all the people on TikTok and Instagram Reels and all that kind of stuff that are selling like, hey, come make money with me, and they're just selling products to try and make money. And you're saying, you know what, actually, I'm creating freedom. I'm not here to make money. I'm here to create freedom because you've got a plan. That's how you separate yourself from the pack. So imagine what you could do with $300 a week. Imagine if we turned it into 500, 1,000. Okay. If you need help with building your business, grab a copy of my book. As I said, if you want help with the mentorship, if you really want to grow your business and you really want to know how to do these kind of things in detail, you can join my mentorship group. These are the kind of things we do in our weekly training, in our monthly masterminds, and that we go deep into these sorts of things to really show people how to create more money in their life. I hope you got value out of today's video. As always, I really hope it's helped you with that mindset. You've got a better plan of what you're going to do. If you haven't yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button on the channel. Leave a love heart, leave a thumbs up on this. Drop a comment as well with your plan, what you're going to do to create more freedom in your life. And we will see you for another video soon. Catch you then.